to the next speaker, who is Sharon Jackson, founder and director of the European Sustainability Academy. Dear Sharon, you have the floor.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. I hope you can hear me clearly. I'm speaking to you from Crete, and it seems like Crete is quite a star in today's program. Thank you very much for giving us that platform. So we're here to talk about the integrating of strategies of sustainability and sustainable development and cohesion. Well, my quick answer is top down, bottom up, and don't forget the middle. But I have a little bit more to say than that, of course. So the problem we have with integrating strategies around sustainable development, climate change issues, circular economy is the language, it's the jargon. How do we bring everyone along in this? Because we need to involve everyone. These are often abstract concepts, and this is a problem. They're not generally anchored in the reality of most people, certainly not here on Crete. And I was delighted to hear what the Vice Governor said, but honestly, I don't recognize most of that from having lived here for 10 years and run my business here in Crete. And I'd love to meet him to talk about how we can really build capacity around that wonderful roadmap. We've actually welcomed my colleagues from the Ellen MacArthur Foundation here to the Academy, here near Chania, and we've talked with young Greek entrepreneurs who want to set up sustainable enterprise. We've always come down to the conclusion that we need to change the language so they understand what circular economy is in their own reality. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that now, as quickly as I possibly can, around the sense making and sense giving of all these wonderful road plans, strategies, policies. Because my core academic work is actually looking at how the sense making of leadership can be a block in action in large global organizations. And I've done some longitudinal studies on this, particularly in very large organizations. And I've worked in China, Australia, UK, and France, and in sectors including oil and gas and mining and other complex sectors today. And what generally my work and others will also support is that the policies and the intentions are often very good, they're very strong. But when it comes down to the leadership, the capabilities are not so strong. They're not congruent necessarily. And what happens is there's a gap between the sense making of the leadership, the policy and intention, and how that is received by all the people who have to do the work to enact the strategy. That is the gap that is prevalent everywhere, particularly with complex problems like sustainable development, climate change, circular economy. Maybe for many of us, they're not so complex, but the average farmer out here, out of my window here, is now collecting their olives before the next deluge of rain. Doesn't quite get it right now, but we can help with good leadership, good communication, and particularly good stakeholder engagement. My findings generally find that that's the problem: good stakeholder communication and lack of horizon scanning, and that also comes up in other studies. So that's generally my work, but I told you earlier on, the abstract is the problem. So I want to be really grounded here. I've chosen to build the European Sustainability Academy here in Crete. It's an international leadership development center for sustainability. Gosh, it couldn't be more relevant, could it? And my programs are international. But I built it in Crete because Crete, as said before, can be a sustainability blueprint for others to follow, particularly island states that are struggling. And we are struggling. We literally have been drowned again over the last few days. Once again, terrible storms. But this is right on the back of terrible droughts. So the Suda Bay now is brown with the really valuable topsoil of this island. The deluge just takes all the dry topsoil into the sea because we don't seem to have an autumn anymore. We've gone from summer to winter. It also brings the plastic and the garbage and everything that's thrown into the gorges of Crete. That's now lying on the beaches. This has to change. This is a strategy that we really must start to change. So I want to go back to 2010 when I was first buying my land here and planning to build the academy. And I was visited by a professor from Exeter University who wanted to talk about collaboration with me on MBA programs. I was shocked because he said he was so upset by how damaged and stressed Crete was that he would never come back here again. Oh my goodness, I thought. That's not what I thought. I saw this place as an amazing opportunity to create this blueprint for change and lead others. So I went out across Crete to find collaborators. This is 10 years ago. And I found some, but not as many as I had hoped, to be honest. So I went off on my own, in my way, of the last 20 years of teaching leadership and sustainable development. And we have some clusters of really nice leadership programs, but it was the young people, it was the young Greeks that came to me, the young students from the technical university who wanted to set up their businesses sustainably, but almost all of them said, we don't get leadership teaching here. No one shows us how to be a leader. And that was when I realized this gap. So we realized we had to make things real, make it local. So some of the things that we've done include taking bamboo bicycles across Crete every year for EU Green Week. We've ridden from Phalasma across to Vai, stopping at lots of different places, Demos, companies, schools, everywhere you can imagine, to talk about climate change, find out what it matters to the people here on the ground. And they all say they feel disconnected by any policy, any strategy. It just doesn't make sense to them. So we try to make sense in their own ways. And that's the work largely that we do here now. Last year, we suffered from Oceanus, equally terrible storms, and we ran a conference in the Annex Centre in Hanya to try and have this conversation. I was very disappointed that none of the leadership came. They accepted the invitations, but they didn't turn up. But the young people came, the young scientists, the young entrepreneurs, they all came, and they showed how they're taking plastics out of the sea and repurposing, and how they're making money from that. And really, these people are our future. I know we're very short of time now. So I want to just quickly go back to what happened when I first opened here, the Academy. Again, using my own skills, wanted to share my own leadership capabilities. I realized that we needed to get people around the table to discuss problems around wind farm, wind energy. Something had gone wrong there around the engagement. We tried to do that. It was completely a failure because we didn't find the collective will for people to sit around and discuss putting very important wind capabilities here on this island. And now all of us struggle from those problems from 10 years ago. We have to unpick that with new leadership capabilities, new leadership competencies. It's knowledge, skills, and behaviors. This is the piece that I really think is missing in all the amazing plans and intentions that we have. So in closing, I just want to clarify why I'm coming from this angle, is that back in the UK, I'm a tutor for the Level 7 Senior Leader Programme as UK Government Apprenticeship. And I honestly think that collectively in this region, in the whole Mediterranean region, we could develop such an apprenticeship, which takes the theory, the intention, the abstract, and makes it real in the workplace and on the ground. And that's what the UK government have created. An MBA is great, but it tends to be theoretical. And converting that theory into practical action is really the missing link, I think. So I have a call for action, a proposal. We are going to bid for some of the Green Deal money to develop such a framework. And I would love to collaborate with anybody else in this Mediterranean region who also thinks we are missing those new skills for leaders. The old MBAs haven't taught what is needed for the next generation. And particularly, what did the governor of the Bank of England has said? One, the governor has said to all banks to prepare themselves because climate change is far worse than any risk ever to banking and the economy. He said that this week. And the previous one, Mark Carney, said, we now need the skills of leadership for whole economy transition. So I propose a collective a collaboration of creating an apprenticeship, a set of leadership skills, whatever we call it, to really upskill our young generations, our new leaders that are coming through. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sharon. Thank you for your initiative, for what you are doing in Crete, and for your ambition to promote this at Mediterranean basin level. And of course, thanks for the support to the UK. The interaction that you are creating is extremely important, and of course the involvement of all the stakeholders and the civil society and spreading the important messages that your Sustainability Academy is promoting is also very important as a good practice across the Mediterranean. And of course, Crete is a key island in the Mediterranean, and in that respect, you convey an important message from Crete.